Hi guys, as promised, I'm going to show you the dolls that I'm working with. So I've got here my Aspari doll, which is actually my daughter's Aspari doll. I've just commandeered it for this purpose. So she is an 18-inch doll. As you can see, she's kind of the popular size like the American Girl doll. They have a similar body shape and size, pretty close to the same. So a lot of the American Girl doll patterns can work for her. You just have to take them in just slightly. Because they're a little bit narrower here in the shoulders and the body. Yeah, I'll show you why right here. She has the formed, it's like a hard plastic upper torso part right here, whereas the American Girl doll, it's soft all the way through the body, and this Aspari only has a little squishy in the tummy part right here. This is the same way how the Journey Girls are. So the Aspari and the Journey Girls are pretty much the same size, I believe. But this is what we have, and so this is what I'm working with. This is a little outfit that I made for her. It has like this little sack dress top that has a little cinch in the shoulder, and then a little skinny leg drawstring waist pants, and these are the shoes that she came with. So this is Marnie, and I'd say she's much easier to make clothes for just because she's a little bit bigger. And so the pieces are a little bit larger and easier to work with. But this is one of my first outfits I made for her and one of the ones that I like the most. And I got this material. I actually didn't buy this material. I actually made a t-shirt quilt for someone, and this was an extra piece of a shirt. And I just really liked the pattern. I thought it looked really nice for this doll. So there you go. And I'll show you the next one. So the next two I have are Barbies. I didn't think that I was going to do a lot of Barbie work, but now that I have these two Barbies, I really, really like making the clothes for them. I bought them secondhand, and they were like $1 a piece at the thrift shop. They did not have any clothes, so they were just in the buff, naked Barbies in a bag. I chose these because they were two different styles. This one has just the regular non-bending knees and stuff, and this one is like fully articulate. She can do her wrist, shoulder, hip, knee, foot, everything. So she's really, really posable, which is fun to kind of take the pictures once I have outfits on, and you know, see how she can move in them. And she's also easier to dress because she can kind of get into the clothes more easily. So these are the two that I have. Also, this one even bends has like an upper chest bend, which is kind of cool. So she has like this little bendable waist. And that's my daughter. And she's trying to help a little bit. And she's going to hold up the other dolly here. And she only has just the arm bends and the regular leg bends. The other difference here is that this one has the typical high heel foot versus the flat feet, the ankles that bend, which is really nice. You know, I haven't, you know, gone into making shoes yet, but I've watched a couple of videos about people making little tiny shoes, so I'm going to try that next. We'll see how it goes. I'll show you, of course. But these are two outfits that I actually made. This was like a little
How about this one?
Oh, yeah, this one. This one I made from actually a Barbie doll pattern. Come over here, please. Don't touch the chair right now so it doesn't move the... Come here. Just don't touch the chair so it doesn't move the camera. So this one has a dress that I made from a pattern that I bought, actually. It's a little strapless dress that I put a little belt on. And I bought this pattern online so I could, you know, have some practice and like get a couple of basic patterns that I could work with. And that is this Simplicity for the 11.5 doll clothing. So this is basically Barbie clothes. And I got this pattern. There was a couple of different patterns to choose from. I got this one because it had all these different things that you could make. So I had a lot of different pattern options to use. And so this is gonna be really fun. And then this one, I made this outfit right here this little pants and top that's open in the back, but it doesn't have any closure right now, as just like a practice, that I actually measured her as if I was going to measure like a real person and did like a sloper pattern, which I recently started learning about. So I'm going to do some more video and another vlog about slopers specifically, and what I've learned so far about the sloper, because that's really interesting, and I feel like, ooh, I know something now. But this is the little practice outfit I made for her using my sloper measurements, and I think it actually turned out much better than I thought it would on the first try. So I was really excited, and I really like how the sleeve fits and looks really like legit, like a real shirt sleeve. So I'm really happy about that. The pants are a little wide. I think need to do like a little bit of a skinnier pant leg. But anywho, this was the first try, so that's that. Lastly, right now I have this new addition, and this is the Icy doll. It is kind of like similar to the Blythe doll character that you've seen a lot online, and this is the large one. Okay, press the circle. Circle. I feel like I may or may not edit this part out of it, but we'll see how it goes. So, here's the Icy doll, as I was saying, and she has this large head, like kind of very like, you know, cartoonish, like baby doll type face. And people are really interested in doing the customization of the makeup and stuff. I haven't really gone into that, but right now I'm just doing clothes. So I wanted to get her because I saw a lot about the Blythe doll, and I was like, oh, I'm interested. The Blythe doll was really expensive, but I found this girl who has the same type of body, the same type of body size, but she doesn't bend. Some of the Blythe dolls you can get ones that have like, you know, articulations in like the joints and everything, and those actually, you can actually switch out the limbs to make them different, make them move differently, and different hands and stuff. This is the Icy doll. I got this online, I want to say for like $25, something like that. That was the cheapest thing that I found, so I kind of splurged on that one. Bought her from AliExpress. Took forever to come. It was a little over a month, because it was coming from China, I think. But she's nice. I like her hair. Her hair is really full. I'm kind of jealous. I wish her hair was like my hair was as full as this Icy doll's hair. Maybe just in like regular color, not blue. But anywho, and her eyes change. That's the thing about these guys with the Icy and the Blythe. The eyes change with this little string on the back of their head. So that's kind of cool, kind of neat. They close, clink, and open in a different color. I'll get a little closer so you can see. Ta-da! Clink. So my favorite is this little pink color eye, so I kind of like to leave it on that one. But anywho, back to this dress size here. So as you can see, this is a small doll. It looks like a Barbie size doll, so a lot of people will try to use Barbie patterns. But this doll, the Icy and the Blythe, are actually quite smaller, quite a bit smaller than the Barbie in the body. It's deceiving because their heads are large, but as you can see, Barbie here is as tall as Icy, but you see her shoulder is all the way up to Icy's eye. So like her Barbie body is much larger actually. And the other thing is Barbie has a little bit of a more mature body. So Barbie's a little curvier in like the hip and the bust, whereas Icy is more of like a, you know, a youth female, not as busty, not as curvy in the hip. So she can kind of, you know, have more variety of outfits, I think, because she's not like a little girl and she's not also like woman, so you can kind of dress her up either direction. This is a little dress that I made. Again, using the sloper pattern that I made. I made a little sloper pattern for each of the dolls, just as a trial to try out what I'd learned. This one also is not closed in the back. It's just, I just sewed it and pinned it for right now because I was just trying it out. And this one turned out much better than the first outfit I made with the sloper. But again, this was a dress, so it was easier because it's not fitted in the body at all. But I really liked it. So what I've learned so far is that you want to sew a lot of these small doll clothes while the pattern and while the fabric is still flat, because since it will create really small openings, for example, in like the wrist here, there's no way that you're going to be able to machine sew this tiny little hole, you know. I mean, if you can, show me how to do that, because I don't know, it's really hard. So it's hard even when it's still flat because it's so tiny. But yeah, so if you're sewing this, you can finish all the edges of like the shirt and the hems of the pants and like the edge of the wrist before you close up the shirt, so that you don't end up with these tiny circles of fabric, these tiny tubes that you can't like get under the foot of your machine to close up. So you'll end up having to either do it by hand, which I always get impatient about, or you have to open it back up and finish the edge and then sew it back again. So that's my thing that I found out, my tip for sewing these doll clothes. And also to leave a little bit more seam allowance, I'd say. Leave almost as much seam allowance as you might for like a normal shirt for a person, just because, you know, you're like, oh, I just want a small seam for this tiny thing, but then the rollover gets so tiny, it gets very delicate, and so you might not have enough space to, oh, you ate all of the salad, good job. Can you put it in the sink? Thank you. You might not be able to do a double roll, and so you might have a raw edge. And if you're using something kind of satiny or something that unravels or frays easily, you might have some more fray. And then, of course, depending on who's using this, if this is for a grown-up just for display, not as much, but if this is actually for a kid to play with, where you're commandeering your children's toys, and they will, again, play with them at some point, you might want to make them a little bit more durable, so when they're getting changed in and out, yeah, you can put that in the sink too. When they're getting changed. It's dirty, Mommy? Yeah, it's dirty. Thank you. Thanks for cleaning it up. Okay. So when they're getting changed back and forth, you know, you don't start unraveling your different seams and such. So those are my dolls. I'm really happy about them, and I think the next thing that I'm going to talk about, maybe next week after I do a little bit more work, is about how I've been doing on my sloper patterns and practicing making some patterns by using the measurements, and then also doing see if I can figure out how to do some draping like straight onto the doll to make it for the exact fit. So that's what I got, and thanks for watching my video. And yeah, leave a comment if you have any questions, or if you have any comments about any kind of dolls that you might be using, and we can compare notes perhaps and have some fun. But again, those are my three. I got the 18-inch, I've got the Barbie, which is considered like a 12-inch, and then I've got the Icy, which I believe is like a 10-inch body. So that's what I have, and so far my favorite is Barbie, but I like the other two also, so I'll be doing some projects for all three. And that's what I got. So thank you so much for watching, and check out my next post next week.